It's so good to see you all this morning. And you're sparkling just like the day is. So, welcome to Unity in Charlotte, where our mission is to nurture a deep and pure experience of God through the practice of unity principles. And that's the thing I love about unity, that it's all about the practice. It's not about somebody telling me their truth. It's my responding to my own spiritual urges, to the message of my soul, and clarifying my truth as I move along. So here at Unity, we are here very simply to love, grow, and serve. And as is happening a lot more these days, people are moving into service, and through service they grow. So I'm Reverend Pat Dre, and I'm so glad that you chose to be with us, so many of you in person. And I know so many of you on Zoom, and we are delighted for those who join us later on YouTube. So we are going to start today's service by sharing our statement of oneness. And what I'd like you to do today, since you all know that prayer, is to say it connecting to your belief in that from within, how you interpret it. So let us do that together. There is one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God, the good omnipotence. And now we will hear our word of the day. Living from my divine nature frees me. Sometimes I feel limited when I don't think I have enough time, money, or space, education, or experience. And these ideas, these thoughts can occupy so much space in my mind that I begin to think limitation is the truth of my life. I'm breathing in and breathing out. I smile. The greater truth is that I am free and unlimited in spirit, alive in God. I am free to express all the love, wisdom, and strength of the divine only as I can. What joy and liberation it is to know that nothing can separate me from my true spiritual nature. If I believe any circumstance in my life or any of my past actions obstruct or delay my spiritual progress, I now release that belief. Embracing and living from the divine presence, the Christ within me, I claim freedom from all limitation. In him we live and move and have our being. Acts 17:20. A powerful word of the day. Yesterday, I got to do something very special that I don't get to do very often in these days of COVID. I got to see my youngest grandchild. You know, if I really been thinking ahead, I would take a picture. Because not only is he bright and beautiful, but he's that child spirit that we all know from our own grandchildren. That spirit of curiosity, that curiosity that leads them into all different kinds of things and perceptions and reasoning. And it's a delight to behold, and it's very much a way of wisdom. So I noticed with interest, since my husband, his grandfather, had gone to see him about a month ago when I was not available because I was doing other things. I was here. And he got to stay in the guest room. So Hugh, that little 2-year-old, calls that bedroom on his own Grandpa's bedroom. Oh, and then there was the nice cup of water that he drank from that is now called Grandpa's cup. So, but here is the the message for us in terms of the important principles. People are good. They really are, because they're made from the divine substance. And every little grandchild and every little child in the world, it's true also. It's true for us as well, in our own curiosity, as we do pursue the truth of who we are. It is truly the biggest question that is ever asked from within, and the more challenging question to know, to really know in every moment of your life who you are and what you are made of. And so we take with us the message this week, living from my divine nature frees me. Knowing the essence of who I am, that divinity, is the biggest and most important truth to me. It is my pleasure to invite Reverend Adrian Calabrese to the platform to speak to us today. I know you know her from her past in being here. She is a minister. She is an author. She writes, and she is ever so eager to support and assist people in their spiritual path based on their uniqueness and what's right for them and in this exploratory. So I thank you so much for being with us again. And welcome. Give me a minute to remove all of my tape. Okay. I'll be coming up. Hey. Takes me a minute too. Well, everybody, I'm glad to be back. And this is what I look like. At least you didn't run screaming from the room, which is always a big benefit, I think, when we're moving forward. I'm delighted, as always, to be back here today. I always enjoy coming here, and I so appreciate your having me back. And I actually will be back next Sunday as well. So I'll get to see you 2 weeks ago. This week, though, we're talking about spiritual non-attachment and how to make decisions without worrying about the result. And I know I heard a little moaning growing over there for a minute. And I went, oh, yeah, I know. Well, hopefully I can shed a little bit of light on my own experience and kind of maybe give a helping hand to yours. We have to make decisions, some easy, some not so easy. And we have important decisions to make, and sometimes worry gets in the way of making our decisions. We don't necessarily realize that at first, but it can get in the way of what you need and want to bring into your life. Let me tell you a little story. I had a boyfriend many years ago from Texas. And if you're from Texas, please forgive me, because I'm about to try the Texas accent. I had to make an important decision years ago. And he was pretty wise in his humble way. And I was just, fretting. And I don't know what to do. And he said to me, well, honey, he said, why don't you just start worrying now about what's going to happen in 3 weeks? Why don't you start? And he stopped me dead in my tracks. I said, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm worrying now about something that may or may not happen 3 weeks from now. It was crazy. And in that one sentence, the light went off. Bing! And I thought to myself, wow, this is what I've been doing my whole life. I've been worrying ahead of time.
And I think I'm not the only one who does this. We waste so much energy worrying about something that hasn't happened yet. And the decisions we need to make. And we worry. Do we say when we make a decision, the first thing we do is we say, is this the right thing to do? Am I going to be okay? If anyone else is involved, are they going to be okay? Is this the way to go? Or should I do this? Or should I do that? Or did I make the right decision? On and on, right? And we don't know where. It's like chasing your tail, you watch a dog do that. But I think what I worried about most, and maybe you too, was worrying about the result. If I decide to do this, this could happen. And if I decide to do that, that could happen. And I kept going over and over and over and over, thinking, what could happen based on my choice, my decision? And it was nerve-wracking. It was nerve-wracking. We want things to turn out a certain way. And we worry that they won't. Counterintuitive? We have sometimes trouble relying on the wisdom within to make decisions. And we try to look outside of us to make decisions, at what the facts are, to what's going on out there, instead of what's going on in here. Our eye is on the result, but it makes the process faulty, because when we're looking at the end, we think to ourselves, wow, the implications can be huge depending on the weight of the decision we're making. And the more important the decision, the more doubt can occur. So today, I want to give you a little bit of an insight as to how I make decisions to keep myself from doing that, from worrying all the time about my own decision-making process. Metaphysicians believe that we need to approach decision-making from a spiritual perspective. And we have to be what they say is non-attached to the results. Do not be attached to the results. Non-attachment. What does that mean? I used to think to myself, what does it mean to not be attached to the result? How can I not be attached to the result? It's what I want. Well, it's not as complicated as it sounds. When we decide that we are going to make a decision in a different way, we can detach from the result. There is such a thing called as the Spiritual Law of Detachment. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but that's what they're talking about. Detaching from the end result. So it's not to say, I don't care what happens. Scarlett O'Hara, it'll be the tomorrow's another day. It's not quite that flippant, but it's almost there. I have to be honest and tell you that. It's a powerful thing to be able to detach from the result of something that you want, right? You want it. So when you are saying to yourself, I am not going to worry about the result. I am going to take the time to make the decision in a certain way so that whatever the result, I'm going to be okay. And that's a tough one because we're human. If you want to be at peace with decision making, if you are a person who goes back and forth and has trouble making decisions, especially important ones, this is very important. I was that way. I want to be at peace with my decisions, not worrying, oh man, did I do the right thing? After I make the decision, after I put it into play, that's not the time to start worrying, honey. You have to start thinking in a different way to get that end result to be okay, regardless of what the result may be. You give and you get. I like to say that. You give up attachment and you get what you want because you're using instead the power of God within you, which makes everything happen. We think we can control things. We think we can manipulate by making a certain decision. That's what it is. Instead of starting with the most powerful energy that we own and have within us, the God within. When we tap into that first, we can't go wrong, regardless of the result. Sometimes we make a decision and the result is not what we wanted, and we say, oh, geez, I made the wrong choice. No, you never make the wrong choice. You make the choice that is right for you at that moment in time and meant for you to experience. There are no wrong decisions because you need to experience whatever the result of that decision happens to be. It's part of your learning experience on this planet. It's part of why you came. So you need to remove yourself from worrying about what the result may be. It's fear. Fear is what causes us to hang on to that final result. Because if it doesn't happen the way I want it to happen, what am I going to do? How am I going to handle things? What's going to happen? You got to get comfortable with uncertainty. You got to get comfortable of not knowing or worrying about what the result will be again. It's a tough nut to crack, but intention is the key. If we act from a spiritual place and in the highest and greatest good of all concerned, we cannot go wrong regardless of the result. If that's how you set out to make that choice, that decision, you are doing the best you can. The best you can. Intention is key. We don't, and I'm going to emphasize this again, want to make decisions from logic and logic alone. We don't want to start with logic. You want to gather facts. You can gather facts about the situation you need to decide upon. Gather those facts. That's cool. That's okay. But don't rely on the logic alone to make that choice. And that's what humans tend to do. And those of us who are spiritual seekers are trying to find a better way, or we wouldn't be spiritual seekers. So we want to come at this from a different perspective. For many years, I was my mom's full-time caregiver. She was ill and she had dementia. And I had to make a lot of decisions, not only for myself, but for her and her well-being. And I thought I was going to lose my mind. The decisions at times were life and death-like. I say like, because no one predicts anyone's departure from the planet. And in making those decisions, I would just go into prayer, go into meditation, but then I would abandon it and start to go back to the logic. Okay, wait a minute. If I choose this for her, if I choose that for her, then this will happen, then that'll happen. What can happen? Doctor, what can I do? If I make her do, if I do this, if I agree to that. It was a nightmare. And then I decided, there's got to be a better way. There is a better way. I know there's a better way. I've been at this for a long time. 40 years at this. I should know better. How come? Because I'm human. And I finally got to the place in my mind where I said, okay, God, this is the deal. You have to guide me to this. I'm going to listen to you. Your guidance is there for me, and I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to let the logic sway me one way or the other. I'm going to move in the best way God moves, and that is through feeling. Remember that 2 years ago, feeling? Yeah. And that's how spirit moves, through feelings, not through logic. Feelings, intuitions, energy. When we are perceptive of all of those things, decisions become easier to make. It worked for me. We have to let our decisions evolve. I know that's tough because you want to say black, white. Yes, no, this is it, that isn't it. It's a state of evolution. You have to allow the decision to evolve around you. And I'll explain to you what that means, because then the decision, the right choice, will be revealed to you if you allow it to evolve. And I'll explain a little bit more about that. But that's the key. Instead of trying to make an immediate black or white decision, we allow it to evolve. When things are pretty severe, when it is a matter of life and death, believe it or not, your guidance comes almost immediately. It comes immediately. You know when it's a matter of life and death. When I was making a life and death decision for my mom, I knew immediately. I said, God, I'm open. And I knew it in my heart what I had to do. I'm talking about these decisions each day that we ruminate over, that we suffer through. Let these evolve. But how do we dispel the fear? How do we accept uncertainty and run with it? And say, hey, I'm going to trust in this intuitive guidance in the God within me to help me to see where I need to go with this decision, what I need to do. And I always like to give you some hints as to how to do that. And one of the ways is don't try to manipulate. Don't try to manipulate the result with your decision. Don't try to say, if I do this, then this. If I do this, then this will happen. That's manipulating. You're working too hard. You're working too hard already when you try to manipulate a decision so that the result becomes what you want it to be. Stop trying to make decisions based on the logic alone, as I said before. Shift to allowing spirit to guide you from within. Use logic as a tool after that. So once you gather all the facts and you watch then for the evolution of your guidance and the decision, then you can use logic to help you enact it, make it happen. There's a difference between making the logic the key to your decision and making spirit the key and logic a tool. You have to allow the decision to evolve from the chaos that might have caused it. I have a little story for you. I had a car wreck many years ago, right before I moved to Charlotte. Right before. It was wonderful timing. Anyway, I had a car wreck. I had a PT Cruiser. It was cute. It was very cute. And I loved the car, and it was easy for my mom to get in and out of, and it was great. And I'm driving along, and bada bing, bada boom, somebody T-bones me. I spun and I spun and I spun, and I thought, is this it? God, is this it? Am I taking off? And it stopped. And some guy pulled me out of the window. I don't know how I fit through that window. Let's tell you the truth. Pulled me out of that car through the window. And I was okay. I had a few bumps and bruises. And I thought, wow, now what? Now what am I going to do? I need some wheels. And I thought, I don't know what to get now. I don't know what to do. I was all shook up. I was caring for my mom. I had to be able to drive her places. She couldn't. And I thought, oh boy, what do I do? What car do I buy? Another one of these? Which kind of car should I buy? What's the best thing for us? I don't know, because I have to worry about my mom. I have to worry about me. How much gas does it take? Which is what I think everybody does. And I decided to go back to my spiritual roots. And I said, I've been using this God guidance in the big decisions of my life. Why not use it in the small? This is the stuff that I got to deal with every day. All right. So I said, I'm going to do it. So I said, you know what? In prayer, I said, okay, Spirit, this is it. I'm handing it over to you because I'm going to just be calm and be aware. This is how you do it. You become aware of everything happening surrounding that decision. So the next morning, I was reading the newspaper, and there was an ad for Honda. And Honda had a big sale, and I had very little money. It was like a match made in heaven, isn't it? And I thought, wow, that looks pretty good. But I never had a Honda. I don't know. My going to like a Honda. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what to do. And then I thought, don't go there. Don't go there. So I just kept reading, and I saw another ad for a Toyota. Another dealer. So, but the Honda deal looked better. And I said, I don't know if I want a Honda. I don't know what to do. And I had a dear friend who was driving me around. And she said, well, why don't you just go to the Honda place and take a look? I said, well, all right, I'll go. I still don't know what car to buy. I don't know what I'm doing, but all right. So we went to the Honda place. I drove a couple of the cars. I liked the cars. And I thought, well, this is a nice car. To me, if it's not a Jaguar, it's a car. So I'm okay with any car I'm driving. It's going to get me where I need to go, unless you happen to want to give me a good deal on a Jaguar. But I thought to myself, okay, just go with it, see what happens. It's starting to evolve around me. And I'm a great believer in signs, shameless plug, I believe in signs. So I'm in there and with my friend, and the nice little salesman said, do you like the car? I said, they're very nice. He said, well, step into my cubicle. And I thought, okay. So to get to his cubicle, we had to go down straight and then to the right. Straight and to the right. So, and they're all cubicles. And each cubicle had the name of the person, the salesperson, the first name, in a plaque on the cubicle. So you knew whose cubicle was whose. Cool, that's fine. So I'm walking to the cubicle, this kid's name that was helping me was John. So I'm walking to John's cubicle with my friend. And as we walked straight, there was a cubicle straight ahead of us. And as I got to that, before I made that right, I looked at the name on the cubicle, and the name was Rudy. Rudy is my father's. My father was a huge car enthusiast. And I thought, holy moly, what a son. Okay, and I looked, and I stood there, and I looked at that sign, and I said, okay, Daddy, this is the car. And I went into John's office. He made a deal, such a deal. I could not read it. Maybe I should say an awful lot couldn't refuse. And I knew at that moment that decision evolved around me. I didn't make it ahead of time. I just allowed it to evolve, kept aware of the signs, kept looking, going with the flow, taking an opportunity when you can get the opportunity. When they arise, they will be given to you. They will be. When you ask, you shall receive. Those opportunities will hit you like a ton of bricks. And you will be amazed at how easy the decisions become. Be willing to step into the unknown, as we call it. It's exciting in a way. It's kind of wondrous when you say, geez, I don't know what's going to happen, but this would be really cool. Even if it's about buying a car, anything. We could buy a car, buy a house, and be just worried to death about it. Is this the right move? Or we can say, man, this is exciting. Let's see what we can do here. Shift the way you look at it. Shift your feeling about it. And go with that that's within you. Stay alert to the endless possibilities that are going to be presented to you the minute you ask for them. Ask and you shall receive. I have 3 buzzwords I like to go by. I call trust, believe, and surrender. You're going to trust in God. You're going to believe those signs when they come to you and the evolution begins. And then you turn it over to God. The old let go and let God thing. It's kind of the same thing. We are allowing Spirit to work through us to get us through that decision, to show us the way. The way is what we want. We don't want the result. We want the way. The result will happen automatically if the way is clear. The way has to be clear. And the way to do that, as I said, is to trust in God, in Spirit, within you, to guide you and protect you. If you follow this law of detachment, you are opening a door to your spiritual growth and your evolution, and it will dissolve that worry, that doubt, that indecision, the tough time we have with decision making. And there are practical ways to do this, and I am offering them to you right now. You know, of course, it's pray, meditate, and affirm. That's a given for us. We know that. We know that's kind of our practice. And when you affirm, you're reprogramming that subconscious. You're moving it from fear to acceptance and peace eventually. You get there that way. You have to trust yourself, your connection to the divine, of course. You have to believe that first and foremost. And you have to stay grounded and calm through it all, which is kind of tough. You have to pull yourself back. When you feel yourself getting nervous, then you have to just pull back and say, oh, chill. Accept the opportunities when they're presented to you. Look for the signs. Look for the evolution of the decision. Start that way. Maintain, I feel, a regular spiritual practice and offer your best. And what I mean by that is whatever your practice happens to be, if you say prayer in the morning, if you like to go out into nature, whatever it is, you play music, you sing, you dance, whatever it is, you paint, whatever you feel connects you to the divine and the divine that is channeling through you all that beauty and love. Do that. Do that often. Do that every day. Maintain that connection on another level with the Creator, with the Source, because you are going to co-create the result with God. You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to worry alone. And when you do these things, make these decisions, there's something you got to do. You have to remove yourself from negative people. There's a lot of people who want to help you out, right? Especially when you don't want them to help you out. There they are. Well, you know what you should do? When I first started out with theater, I was pounding the pavement in New York City. It was not fun. And I'd go to these awful rehearsal halls that smelled, and it was terrible. And oh my gosh! And I was struggling. And one of my parents' friends said to me, "You know what you need? You need an agent." Thanks. Thanks a lot. I didn't know that. You know how hard it is to get an agent? It's as hard to get an agent as it is a job. And I'm looking at this guy and I'm going, thanks a lot. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're not going to get anywhere. Then the barrage of negativity. And sometimes when you have a decision to make, there's somebody there to tell you why you're not going to get what you want. Thanks a lot. You know these people. Please move away as fast as you can. Slowly I turn inch by inch, and you get back to you. But be around people that are positive, that say, how can I help you? What can I do to help you with this decision? Not make it for you, not tell you what will happen like they know. Right? We have to know who to trust in this moment. And surround yourself with those people that you trust will support you regardless of the decision you make, regardless of the decision you make. And you are blessed that way. I have an affirmation for you. But I want to do just a little quick exercise before we do this. Not going to hurt. It's a little kind of a meditative thing. I would like you to put in your mind if you have a decision to make. And if you don't, that's okay. But if you have even a small decision, not necessarily a major decision, something you're ruminating over for a while, I would like you to put that in the forefront of your mind. And then we'll close our eyes and I will read the affirmation slowly. And I would like you to repeat it to yourself silently. Okay? So let's close our eyes just for a moment and relax. And let's take just a gentle breath. And I'd like you to just put that thought, that decision that needs to be made, whether it's a hard decision, an easy decision, whatever it may be. And if not, just be at peace. And then repeat silently as I read this. I accept uncertainty and release fear. I make this decision based upon trust in the God within. I allow solutions to evolve without forcing them. And I look forward to the wonder and joy and excitement of my future. Through uncertainty, I will find freedom, creativity, security, and peace. And so it is. Now let's take a gentle breath and slowly open your eyes. And let's affirm this together. You can repeat out loud after me. I accept uncertainty and release fear.
I accept uncertainty and release fear.
You've got to be more enthusiastic. I'm sorry. We're going to try this again and give it to me. Give it to me. I accept uncertainty and release fear.
I accept uncertainty and release fear.
Yeah. I make this decision.
I make this decision
Based upon trust in the God within.
based on the trust in the God within.
I allow solutions to evolve
I allow solutions to evolve
without forcing them,
without forcing them.
and I look forward
And I look forward
to the wonder
to the wonder
and joy
and joy
and excitement
and excitement
of my future.
of my future.
Through uncertainty,
Through uncertainty,
I will find freedom,
I will find freedom,
creativity,
creativity,
security,
security,
and peace.
and peace.
And so it is.
So it is.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you want to say it. That's how you want to send it to the universe. And you know what you just do? You just unblock that channel to making decisions. You just told God and the universe and all there is, source, I'm ready to be guided to my decisions. And I am grateful and I give great thanks. And each time we give great thanks. And we act in the highest and greatest good of all those concerned. And when you look at making your decisions from this very, very powerful place, rather than a place of worry and fear, your desires will have the result that you want. And if they don't, you must see it as a learning curve that you need to learn if the result isn't what it was supposed to be, and accept and love that choice and that result as well. And then when you create and co-create with God, when you make decisions with the God within you, they seemingly make themselves. They evolve around you, and you can make that choice with great peace and understanding. And like my Texas boyfriend used to advise, say to yourself, honey, why was I ever worried about that in the first place? Thank you, everybody. God bless you. So Reverend Adrian delivered a unique experience to you. And here is my synopsis of Reverend Adrian. She's charming. She's bright. She's funny. She's a metaphysician. She's a complete package. She's in New York.
Don't hold that against me.
I am a New Yorker. I was born in Queens, And I worked for a company in late success until I entered.
Wow.
So, and my husband's from the Bronx.
Hey, Paisan.
He carries an accent after 2 words. The Bronx.
The Bronx.
That was so lovely. I'm remembering now non-attachment, to trust, believe, and surrender, and always to be clear, because the signs will always be there. Absolutely. Yep. And pray, meditate, and affirm, and co-create with God. What a lively and beautiful take-home message. And Barbara, was not that in accord with Lucille Cedar-Crans, chapter 10? I know. Wow, hey, you did it. You did it. Thank you. So, it's a really special time whenever we're really grateful for the abundance that we've been given. And the abundance is really rarely in material things because they don't last. They come and they go, and we want bigger ones or different ones and more marvels, and then they become old. It's really in what sustains us. Messages like today. So I'm asking you today to support that which feeds you spiritually. And you notice where I took my support from, close to my heart. It's a pocket that I frequently use. And it works, nothing falls out there. So I hold it close to my heart and experience gratitude. So join with me in saying, stand up first, because we speak much louder, I notice, when we are breathing and when we put forth the effort. So say with me our prosperity blessing. Joyously, I give this gift, knowing that the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And now we're going to hand it over to our choir for a moment. I want to say a few things. We are going to bring our chairs over to the side. Those of you that can carry chairs, that would be helpful. If you're able to stack, that's helpful too. Then we exit fairly quietly.
Sure.
And then we walk out quietly, and we remind the person who is talking to us to go to our unity prayer room in the back to have a little bit of socialization. And that's important. I know I have a prayer to say soon at the end of the prayer of protection. Yeah. All right, I got it all. I've done it in order today. So over to our choir. Thank you, and we will join you in song. joining us today. And to complete our day, we are going to say our prayer of protection and then go into our peace song. Join with me.
The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
And you can move in a circle if you choose.